What's your name?
Hi, my name's Michaela.
Michaela, awesome.
I had two questions. Number one, I feel like most people I interact with on a individual basis come from a philosophical a priori axiom of agnosticism from which they hide, as opposed to a positive affirmative stance for something. How do you engage in that in a way that is efficacious and existentially relevant? Secondly, I'm a physical therapist. I work a lot with postpartum women. I'm building a caseload to work with a bunch of women who have been through abuse. I also have a heart for public speaking. What are just some practical suggestions you would have for engaging the fight?
Yeah, good, awesome. Yeah, agnosticism. I don't take a position. I stand in the middle of the road. I'm tolerant. You know the problem with standing in the middle of the road, by the way, right? You tend to get run over by a truck. That's the problem with doing that. And we have had middle wayism politicians and Christians for far too long. I would actually contend that the primary reason we're in the condition we're in our republic is not because of evil men that do evil things. It's because of good men who know better and do nothing. But no, they're just tolerant. They're just middle way. They're just agnostic. Have you ever heard people say, "I'm neither left nor right"? It's like, if you can't pick sides now, I don't know when you can. Picking sides does not mean affirming every reality of the side you're on, every belief of the side you're on. For goodness gracious, I'm a Republican, I'm a registered Republican, and I despise the GOP, okay? I mean, they just betrayed us on marriage. They tend to betray us over and over and over again. They were just, last year they were pushing transgender stuff. The most fundamental institution, your sex, that determines how we live together. So I got no problem blasting people on my side of the aisle, but I still got to pick a side of the aisle. And so it reminds me of something Elie Wiesel said, the Holocaust survivor who wrote the book Night, which you might have been required to read in high school. And he said, we must always take sides. Silence encourages the oppressor, never the victim. Neutrality helps the tormentor, never the tormented. The very thing the enemy of our souls and the enemies of the unborn want is for the people who disagree with them to only express those beliefs in the walls of their church and their homes, to only prove their resistance to the regime through words. And this has always been the enemy's plan, by the way. You guys ever read C.S. Lewis's book, The Screwtape Letters? Screwtape, talking to what? Nephew Wormwood, remember? And one of the most prescient lines from that book is when he tells Wormwood, as the humans have said, active habits are strengthened by repetition, but passive ones are weakened. The longer he, and who's he? The Christian. The longer he feels without acting, the less he will be able ever to act. And in the long run, the less he will be able to feel at all. In other words, what the enemy wants more than anything else is for Christians to believe all of the right things and never contend for them. To feel maybe even broken about the reality of abortion. Maybe even to, dare I say, shed a tear over it, but not do anything to stop it. The longer he feels without acting, the less he will be able ever to act. And the problem with being silent about evil for that long is you end up not caring about anything at all. Alexander Solzhenitsyn once said that in refusing to speak against evil, we bury it so deep within ourselves that it will arise 100-fold in the future. And that's what's happening now. Evil is arising 100 and 200-fold with liberty and freedom falling down before our very eyes. And I would submit to you this evening the fundamental reason as to why, well, yes, to quote Alexander Solzhenitsyn, is we forgot God. But secondly, for our tolerance of this wickedness of abortion. I think it was Aristotle that said tolerance and apathy are the last virtues of a dying society. Guys, tolerance is typically not a good thing. especially not in today's day and age, where the things we're being asked to be tolerant about are some of the most wicked manifestations of evil that we've ever seen. In regards to exercising your voice, like your muscles, your voice must be exercised. Just as physical atrophy occurs through not using your muscles, so does moral atrophy occur through not using your voice. And so if you want to become an effective communicator for the lives of unborn children, just start speaking. Don't feel discouraged that you may not sound like Michael Knowles or Matt Walsh or Josh Hawley or Ted Cruz. Just start speaking. And in doing, you will find yourself getting stronger and stronger. It's just like athletics. It's just like anything else. But you have to start somewhere. And then, of course, I would say read and read and read and read and read. My people suffer for lack of knowledge, the Bible says. So read a lot. But the main takeaway I would say is this: don't wait to feel like you're ready before you begin acting. Begin contending outside of abortion mills, pleading for the lives of unborn children. Begin speaking. Begin challenging your friends, your family members, and your coworkers. Yeah, I know. Make them uncomfortable. Ask them questions like, do you agree with Margaret Sanger, whose goal in the Negro Project was the gradual suppression, elimination, and eventual extinction of defective stocks, those human weeds, which threaten the blossoming of the finest flowers of American civilization? I mean, just begin pushing back. And by the way, we have all this in my podcast. So if you listen to my podcast, you'll get these kind of diamonds that you can, cast before swine, okay? But just begin doing it and pushing back and exercising those moral muscles, and you'll come to find that you're far more equipped than you thought you were.